Leroy Fry hangs by the neck from a tree in a field on a dark, foggy night. Augustus Landor, a widower and retired veteran detective, sits at the edge of a stream near his cottage, washing his hands in the cold, flowing water. He puts his top hat on and walks back to his cottage.
You Augustus Landor? I am.
There's a carriage waiting outside, and he is summoned to the United States Military Academy. Captain Hitchcock and Superintendent Thayer have called upon Landor to investigate the murder and mutilation of Leroy Fry, who was found hanged the night before with his heart cut out of his body.
Leroy Fry's heart was carved from his chest.
Landor and Dr. Daniel Marquis examine Fry's body, and Landor finds a contusion on the back of Fry's head, indicating he was attacked and murdered. Landor also finds a note clutched in Fry's hand, a small scrap of a piece of paper with writing on it. Landor stands by the lake at the tree where Fry was found, clutching the small scrap of paper in his hand.
The man you're looking for is a poet.
Poe approaches him and informs him that the man he is looking for is a poet, due to the symbolism behind cutting out the human heart. Landor then questions the cadet that was placed in charge of guarding Fry's body after he was found. The cadet informs Landor that a strange man dressed in an officer's clothing came to relieve him of his duty for the night.
Mr. Stoddard, you were the last one to see Mr. Fry alive.
Landor questions Cadet Stoddard, the last one to see Mr. Fry alive. On the night that Fry was murdered, Stoddard mentions Fry sneaking off into the night for necessary business. Captain Hitchcock is informed that sheep have been mutilated with their hearts cut out. He states that all men at the academy are to only attend meals, classes, and services. Landor receives aid in his investigation from Cadet Edgar Allan Poe. He gives Poe the task of deciphering the note that was found in Fry's hand. Back in his cottage, Landor fondly clutches a ribbon and stares at a picture of his daughter, Maddie. He has mentioned that she ran away some time ago, nothing more. A knock comes at his door, and Poe has decoded the note.
I am pleased to report I have successfully decoded your message.
He claims it says, "Don't be late, come soon." Landor and Bale guess that the note was left for Fry by a woman. Poe claims that his dead mother told him in his dreams that the woman who wrote the note is the most beautiful woman he's ever seen, Leah Marquis. Landor leaves Poe a note, asking to meet him at the house by the river. Landor walks through the abandoned wooden house and pulls up a door in the ground that leads him underneath the house. Here, he finds the scene of the second crime, where Fry's heart was brought. A ceremony occurred here, as blood and candles are placed around a circle and triangle that have been carved into the ground. Landor and Poe visit Jonathan Pepe, a friend of Landor's who is a man of the occult. He claims the shapes on the ground that they saw in the house are a magic circle, and that a blood ceremony performed. Speaking of a rare book called Discours du Diable, a book of witchcraft written by Henry Leclerc.
Redoubtable witch hunter. You read French, Mr. Poe?
Yes.
He claims that this book contains the instructions for securing immortality. Landor sets Poe on the mission to infiltrate the cadets and find out who might have an interest in witchcraft. After some prying, a cadet mentions Artemis Marquis. After finding this out, Poe attempts to get closer to Fry. As he plays cards in a pub with Artemis and a few other cadets, a cadet wonders if Fry hanged himself over a woman, maybe Artemis' sister. Artemis laughs suspiciously at this accusation. Landor sleeps in his bed, but is awoken suddenly by a rustling noise coming from inside his home. He jolts up and sees his daughter, Mathilda, scrubbing at her dress. He approaches her and she suddenly disappears. He opens up her dresser filled with her dresses and belongings, clutches them, and softly sobs to himself. There's a funeral for Leroy Fry. After the ceremony, Fry's mother approaches Landor and gives him Fry's journal. She informs Landor that Cadet Randolph Ballinger sent her this journal after his death.
He said, I thought you should have Leroy's diary with you in Kentucky.
He opens it and finds the pages filled with unintelligible numbers and letters. Back at his cottage, Landor rips pages out of the diary. After dipping them into a solution and placing them upon a window, he is able to make out the hidden words on the pages. Landor informs Poe that he will start to focus his investigation on Artemis, whose entire family seems guilty of something. Landor, Poe, and a few cadets go to the Marquis home for dinner. Artemis, Leah, Dr. Marquis, and Mrs. Julia Marquis as well. Poe asks Leia out, and they agree to go for a walk later on through the cemetery. On this walk together, Poe and Leia share tender thoughts and feelings, and Poe realizes that Leia is sick when she collapses and has a seizure.
Leia! What's happening?
Later on that evening, as Poe is walking in the night through the forest, he is jumped by Ballinger, who chokes him on the ground and attempts to bash his head in with a rock.
Stay away from Leia.
Landor comes to the rescue and sends Ballinger on his way. Poe is heard by other cadets, stating that he will kill Ballinger for what he has done to him. The next morning, Ballinger goes missing. Cadets search the forest for him, and they come upon Ballinger hung by the neck with his heart cut out, identical to the state of Leroy Fry's murder. After 2 murders have occurred with the killer still on the loose, Captain Hitchcock ridicules Landor due to his lack of progress on the case and questions his loyalty. Captain Hitchcock suspects Poe of committing the crimes because just the night before, he was heard saying that he would kill Ballinger. He claims Poe had a connection to Fry that he didn't tell Landor about. After hearing this, Landor questions Poe about committing the murders, but agrees to protect him from arrest as long as he never lies to him again.
Yes or no? The truth!
Landor, Poe, Artemis, Leia, and the Marquis parents are at the Marquis home again for dinner to mourn Ballinger's passing. Artemis harshly accuses Landor of going through his belongings, to which Julia throws a fit and leaves the table. Leia follows, and Dr. Marquis and Landor go off to his study. Landor guesses at the fact that Leia is unwell. Poe watches Leia play the piano and begins falling in love with her, claiming he would do anything for her. As everyone else is occupied, Landor escapes upstairs and creeps around through the Marquis' belongings. Landor finds an officer's uniform upstairs. He brings the uniform downstairs for everyone to see and states that Artemis can explain what this suit has to do with the murders. His suspicion about Artemis being the suspect is confirmed. At that moment, Captain Hitchcock arrives at the Marquis household
Another cadet is missing.
to inform that Cadet Stoddard is now missing. As he was good friends with Fry and Ballinger, it is assumed that he ran away to escape a similar fate as the 2 cadets. Landor goes to visit his friend Pepe and once again inquires about the book by Henry Leclerc. He comes to a realization. Landor arrives back at the Marquis and claims their family is following Father Henry Leclerc. He accuses Leia of speaking with the dead and being in contact with the late Henry Leclerc. He pulls Discours du Diable, the rare witchcraft book, off of the bookshelf in the Marquis home.
I've never read a page of this book.
Does your daughter speak with the dead?
Landor and Dr. Marquis then notice that Leia, Artemis, Julia, and Poe are nowhere to be found, and Landor flees the house. In the house by the river, Poe is strapped to a board, unconscious, as Artemis pours blood in a big circle on the floor. Leia has a bowl of blood in her hand and begins to smear it across her face while she chants in another language. Her mother Julia stands in the corner and urges her to continue with the ceremony. Dr. Marquis admits to Landor that he tried everything to help Leia, but that her seizures were getting worse. Leia had claimed to meet her great-great-grandfather Leclerc some time ago. Dr. Marquis claims his children swore that Fry was already dead, and that they would never kill anyone. After the first mutilation to get Fry's heart, it seemed Leia's illness had gotten better. Artemis begins to smear blood on Poe's chest, marking where to cut to extract his heart. Poe starts to regain consciousness. Leia and Julia continue to chant while Artemis stands above Poe, a knife in his hands, right above Poe's heart.
Enough!
At that moment, Landor enters the house and Leia knocks a table over in surprise that has candles on it, which starts a fire. Artemis and Landor get into a physical fight, and Leia continues to chant. The fire spreads, and the building begins to collapse. Floorboards and roofing from above falls onto Leia, and she is struck down to the ground. Artemis and Julia run over to help her. Landor drags Poe away from the scene, then goes back to grab Julia. Artemis continues to try to help Leia, and the building collapses again onto them both. Julia, Poe, and Landor make it out of the building. The next day, Poe rests in an infirmary. This punishment for Mrs. Marquis is the grief of her 2 children. Dr. Marquis has submitted his resignation. Captain Hitchcock apologizes for ever questioning Landor's competence. Superintendent Thayer releases Landor from his contract, and Landor returns home. At his cottage, Poe goes to visit Landor and states that he knows everything about his daughter, a vision that suddenly came to him in his dreams. Poe pulls out the note found in Fry's hand. Then he pulls out the note that Landor left him, telling him to meet him at the house by the river. He states that he realized that the handwriting is the same in both notes. He tells the story of how he ran into La Divine Patsy, who told him the story of how Landor's daughter Maddie was raped by 3 cadets. In a flashback to Landor's memory, Maddie handed her father a necklace that had a pendant with the initials LF. She lost her mind over what happened and didn't actually run away, but jumped off a cliff and killed herself, her father behind her begging not to jump.
Have you?
Poe realized that Artemis and Leia cut out the heart of Fry after he was hanged by Landor, and the mutilation of the bodies provided his crimes with extraordinary cover. Landor admits to killing Ballinger as well, and cutting his heart out to make it look identical to Fry's murder. As Landor killed Ballinger, he admitted to Julius Stoddard also participating in the rape.
What's with you?
Julius Stoddard.
He hopes Stoddard spends the rest of his life looking over his shoulder, living in fear. Landor hands Poe the incriminating notes, and on his way out, Poe burns them. Landor sobs. Landor returns to the cliff where Maddie killed herself and steps to the very edge of the cliff, clutching Maddie's ribbon in his hand. He turns his back on the cliff the way she did when she jumped and releases the ribbon from his hand. His last words, "Rest, my love."